A very good morning again, students. Now we will study the third part of William Shakespeare's play As You Like It. I would just like to recap the story of the first two parts, first two acts. Actually, what happens? Duke Senior is exiled to the in the forest by his younger brother Frederick. Second, Orlando has also in the forest for the fear of his brother. Then Rosalind and Celia are also in the forest and they meet to certain people. So Duke is with his lords, especially Jax and Amice. They sing song and in a certain way they entertain Duke Senior. Here, Rosalind comes, Orlando there, and another rustic characters are there. So the thing is going on. Now in the third part, we see that this play come to its climax. Okay, so act third and its scene first. What happens? An angry Frederick sends Oliver to fetch the missing Orlando, confiscating his lands until his brother is delivered. What happens? Because Celia has fled in the forest with Rosalind and Duke Frederick know that Rosalind is after Orlando. So he calls the brother uh, Oliver, or Orlando's brother Oliver, and uh, threatens him to search out the missing Orlando. And he confiscated his whole property until and unless he delivered his brother Orlando to him. And now this is the time when Oliver is also going in the forest of Arden. Okay. Act third, scene second. This again, the scene opens in the forest of Arden. Orlando pins a love poem about Rosalind on a tree before leaving to pin up many more. Now, what happens as we know that in the wrestling match, Orlando falls in love with Rosalind. Now, in the forest, he has nothing to do anything, so he just write love poems and pin up them on the trees. Okay, so one second. So Orlando has time to reflect his love toward Rosalind by writing his poem. Corinne and Touchstone engage in a comic debate about the relative merits of country and court life before Rosalind arrives, reading another unsigned poem in her own praise, which is mocked by Touchstone. Now, Touchstone is jester and Corinne is an old man who is a shepherd. They both are in a comic debate, and both of them count the merit of country life and city life. As when they were engaged in this debate, Rosalind arrives there and she has a poem in her hand which was written by Orlando in his own praise. And this poem is mocked by Touchstone. Celia arrives reading yet another such verse. Celia is also arrived on the scene along with Rosalind. She teased her cousin before finally letting her know that the poet is Orlando, who is also in the forest. Now they have known that Orlando has also reached in the forest. They watch as Orlando arrive engaged in a prickly conversation with Jax, and they headingly they watch over Orlando, who is in conversation with Jax. When these two part of mutual consent, Rosalind accosts Orlando in her guise as Ganymede, questions him about his love poem, and proposes to cure him of his love by posing a realistically contrary Rosalind during daily counseling seasons. Here, this play takes a change, and here Rosalind, as in disguise of Ganymede, she proposes Orlando that he can cure his love sickness, and in return, Orlando has to do, Orlando has to assumes Ganymede as Rosalind, and since there will be many counseling seasons, and by this way uh, Rosalind can cure him, and Orlando agrees to that proposal. Okay, now scene third of scene act, Touchstone is pursued to postpone his marriage to Audrey. Now, Touchstone is also in love with Audrey, a country girl, and he postpones his marriage. The ignorant Gothard he lusts after by Jacques, who feels Touchstone deserves a better praise than Sir Oliver Martext. Sir Oliver Martext is a priest. So Touchstone decides to postpone his own marriage with Audrey. And what happens in the scene 4? Rosalind is distressed that Orlando is late for his appointment with Ganymede. Now, both Rosalind and Celia wait for Orlando, but he comes late, and in disguise of Ganymede, Rosalind rebukes him. Celia says he is not to be trusted, and Celia says that as he often comes late, so he cannot be trusted. Corinne arrives, promising to be take them to see Silvius trying to woo the disdainful Sephardices Phoebe. So Corinne arrives there and he promises to take them. That how Silvius, another Sephard, is trying to woo the disdainful Sephardices Phoebe. Now, Audrey, Touchstone, Phoebe and Silvius, these are two pairs. Another pair is Rosalind and Orlando. So, as we have seen till now, there are three pairs, and fourth pair will be Celia and Oliver's, but that will be in the next part of this next act of this play. Act fifth. Seeing Phoebe scorned for Silvius, Rosalind steps forward and accuses her of ignorance before Celia and Corinne leave. So they, in a hiding way, they listen their conversation, and then Phoebe this Rosalind in disguise of Ganymede comes forward, and accuses she accuses Phoebe for his ingratitude. Then Phoebe falling in love in first sight with Ganymede. As Rosalind is in disguise of Ganymede, Phoebe fall in love with Ganymede. Says she will be Silvius and angry letter to deliver to him. And she gave Silvius a letter to propose her love for Ganymede. Because she doesn't know that Ganymede is also a woman. Okay, so this act ends here. Thank you, and in the next act we will see what happens with these lovers. Thank you.